I'm showing we welcome back all of our viewers. As usual, my co-host is with me. Rick, welcome back.
Thanks, Belinda. Thank you to all our viewers to episode 7. Let's get through to the weekend warm-up show.
Perfect. So we're just a couple of days away from our debut of the 2023 season. Tonight we will preview all of the matches that are in State League 1. We'll have a look at how the third round of the Australia Cup went, and then we'll interview the coach and our position coach and much, much more. So everything straight after the break. First of all, we'll have a look at the Australia Cup results and how all the teams went over the weekend.
Yeah, the first game Friday against Playford and Adelaide Victory. Playford won 1-0. They had to work hard for this win, considering they went down to 10 men for the whole second half. But they found the winning goal, I think it was about the 82nd minute.
I heard there was a number of cards given out that game, do you know?
12 cards in total.
Wow.
So basically a whole team.
It must have been, yeah, it was pretty full on.
Yeah, I think the referees were quite busy that night. Then we had Seaford and Fulham. It was 1-1, but then obviously went to penalties. Seaford won 5-4 on that one. Former Para Hills player put Fulham in front to a penalty on the 29th minute. Andrew Shaw's men were able to equalise in the second half, but keep their cool throughout the penalty shootout. So 5-4 to Seaford. I think that the coach will be happy with that.
Absolutely. So let's move now. We've got Gawler and Bacala.
Yep. Bacala 4-0. Bacala way too strong for Gawler. Anthony Toure and former AIS player Milad Ahmed went onto the score sheet. They just destroyed them. They run rings around them.
Right, so let's move on to Saturday's games now.
Yeah, we've got Narracourt and Cobras. Cobras 5-0. They're in our league this year, so not much of a surprise here. Cobras put in 5 against the Narracourt team. Former Eastern United player Aaron Acton went on the score sheet, and both Detroit and Mitchell scored a brace as well. So, yeah, that one you could have chalked down even before the whistle went.
So moving on now to Cumberland and Para Hills West.
Cumberland destroyed Para Hills West 7-0. Para held off for 25 minutes, but you could see the lack of fitness that he just dropped. And then obviously Cumberland were just way too strong for this team. Tommy Briscoe only scored the one. That was a bit of a surprise. And even so that he started from the bench. So he probably would have chalked him down for a few more goals, but at least he's got one under the belt. Huge score on there.
ADELAIDE and Vipers next match.
This was a good game. Vipers won that 1-2-1. Vipers very good in the match. They went to face Port Adelaide, and the youngsters were too much to deal with for the Porous defence. So, correct, yep.
Cool. Okay, so we move now into Sunday. So we have Blue Eagles and Adelaide Hills. Blue
Eagles. It was a close game, but I think the result was never in doubt. Blue Eagles 2-1. The result was never in doubt. Blue Eagles really. They looked flat considering they played a 10-man Hawks for an hour, but couldn't really find a way to close the game earlier. So.
Then we moved into the other score there. Surprise result there.
Yeah, I actually picked Para Hills to win this one. But yeah, Garn won 5-3. This was probably the biggest result in the week. With Para Hills Knights losing against the division amateur side. Para Hills started strong, but Garn just ran over the top of them. I must be careful to call them an amateur side because on Sunday they looked very but an amateur side.
And that's what happens, and like you've previously said as well, it's just you never know what happens on the day, and that's what happens in the cup.
It's the cup, it's the beauty of the cup. Anything can happen. So then we'll go to our highlights of the match.
Yeah, so let's move forward now and watch our highlights from Sunday and how we went.
The Saints started their Australia Cup campaign against Para Hills East, a club in the first South Australian Amateur Division. The temperature was 32 degrees Celsius and the conditions of the pitch were not the best for a game of football, but that didn't seem to bother the Eastern United players, especially star player Thanasi Lessie, who after a flick from William Nuttall he hit a powerful volley past the Para Hills goalkeeper and made it 1-0 to the Saints. It was a shot straight from the Manual of Football section first-time volleys. Despite conceding early, the home club didn't seem to be bothered and showed great signs of fighting spirit. They looked extremely dangerous on set pieces and could have perhaps made some of them count, but the end product wasn't there. Due to the hot weather, both teams enjoyed a drinks break, especially the Saints, as they were losing control of the game, and after a few tactical adjustments, the Saints started to impose their passing game. Thanasi was once again practicing what's written in the football manual. This time it was in the free kick section. Despite a well-placed free kick, the opposition goalkeeper got the fingertips to it and pushed it for a corner. The Saints' fitness was showing towards the end of the first half. They were turning the screws and started to push. Daniel Pauly leashed a shot from 25 yards who beat the opposition goalkeeper but not the crossbar. Minutes later it was Markai with the opportunity to make it 2-0, but his header was not on target. The second half started with the Saints dominating possession and had two opportunities early on to kill the game. Both chances came at the feet of George Katsianis, but his first shot went over the bar and his second shot went straight into the goalkeeper's hand. The game was being played in the Para Hills half and Markai once again had another chance from set piece, but he couldn't hit the target. Though the Saints were turning up the heat with Godfrey Okello, who made one of his usual runs in behind and delivered a first-time cross in the box that Para Hills defenders couldn't deal with it and found the feet of fresh new signing Christian Zeff, who cut on his Stroger foot and placed the ball where the opposition goalkeeper couldn't reach. It was a much-needed goal for the Saints as it put the game past Para Hills' reach and made the last few minutes just a formality. The Saints could have hit the target once again just minutes later from a free kick, but the opposition goalkeeper was vigilant. Para Hills East Oppo runnities were rare and far from each other in the second half. Godfrey Okello joined the goalscorer booklet with one of his common runs and scored the third by going past the opposition goalkeeper and celebrated his goal with his costume celebration.
So here we are, State League 1 is finally back this Saturday. It kicks off for us. We're at home in the evening at 5:30. So let's preview our first round.
Yeah, so I think besides myself, everyone's excited about round one. But let's start with Bacala. They face Adelaide Victory Saturday at 2:30. Bacala have an extremely young squad compared to the past. No doubt their ambitions remain the same as a club, but in this season, if they'd managed to make finals, they've done a good job. So
they've definitely had a big change of guard, coach as well, and lots of outs and ins there. So
yeah, my prediction for this season is they'll just miss the top six, right. Bacala. Right. But they've had outs include their coach Trimboli, Pauly to Olympic, Nathan Munro. This is just to name a few. Right. They've had probably 7 or 8 outs. Yeah. Ins coming in, Daniel Peterson and Carmen Lorello. They were the reserves coach. Right. So, but then they've had also Antoni Ture from Campbelltown, Austin from Bacala, Deegan Nicholas from Modbury Vista. Austin from Para Hills. So, yeah, they've got obviously a lot of outs, but they've made some good ins as well.
Yeah, okay.
Victory would be much more solid this year, I think. They've had a loss, basically,
They've lost no one. They've kept their squad pretty settled and the same, yeah?
Correct, yeah. I reckon they'll finish in the top 6. No real outs, but ins, they've got Jordan Stephanopoulos from Adelaide Uni and Evan from White City. So, yeah.
See how they go. So we went to now Fulham and our Croatia. They play at 3 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. So
Yeah, Fulham under the coach of Tony have made progress by losing against Seafood. Sorry guys. Seafood, I haven't had dinner yet. And being out of the cup just a week before the first league, round 1, doesn't help their cause. So establishing themselves as top 6 contender, it's going to be tough. But no doubt they have recruited well and will be looking to finish in the top 6. But I've got them just out of the top 6. So, but their major outs are Hamish Anderson to Victory.
Victoria, I think, yeah.
Oh, sorry, Victoria. Ins, they've got Ollie Grant from Adelaide Hills and George from Bacala. So,
Okay. See how
Raiders, on the other hand, they've had a lot of changes from the coaching staff aspect to the playing group. They departed with coach Phil Stubbins and gave one of their own the reins. Yep. And so far in the pre-season, they look the goods. So playing squad-wise, they let a few players go, but signed a lot of experience and quality. I've got them finishing in the top 3. Anything less, I reckon, would be classed as a failure by the Croatian camp. So
definitely one of those sort of clubs that have been around. So
So as far as their ends, Ricardo de Silva from West Adelaide, Nico Andre from West Adelaide, our old mate Fred Sunday from Eastern United, and Joseph Costa from Adelaide City.
Great, thank you. Let's move on to the Vipers. New boys in town against Para Hills on Saturday at 4:30.
Yeah, they'll be looking to stay in the division this time, but lack of signing, in my opinion, is a bit of a concern. No doubt they have a good coach, but the level they will be playing is much higher level than what we used to seeing last season in most of the matches. My prediction is they'll battle to avoid relegation, and that'll be probably towards the end of the season. So their wins, they've got Kirill from Adelaide Uni, Jacob Johns from Adelaide Olympic, and Oscar Moore from NTC. Para Hills Knights haven't experienced their best pre-season. I think we beat them in pre-season as well. They've also recruited their imports very late, and losing key players from last season won't help their ambition to finish in the top 6. Lucky they've got a capable coach who could work magic with these guys. I wouldn't be surprised if they comfortably make the top 6. The way they did in the past 2 seasons. So, however, this season I've got them battling for a top in. In the top 6 finish, and a few of their outs. France, who's come to Eastern, Andre Mayo, who's also come to Eastern, Diego Ramos, they've lost him to Pontian Eagles, he's an ex-player of ours as well. Young Ryan to Adelaide United youth team, and Finley injured for the season, the goalkeeper, yeah. But their wins, they've got Stefan Simic from Bacala, a Japanese import, Yanagi. They've also got another import from South America, Diego Santos, and their goalkeeper Lachlan Fusco from Aubrey, Jets Reserve. So,
Yeah, so moving now to Cobras and Blue Eagles.
Yep, Cobras is the other newly promoted team. This season they'll be looking to become. They want to stay in there. They don't want to be going up and down in different leagues. So, no doubt this time around they'll look more solid and have signed much better than they did when they were in the State League 1 in 2021. But at the end of the day, relegation is not avoided on how many good players they got. Is basically based on points.
Absolutely.
So I do feel Cobras will have enough this season to stay up. So their ends, they've got Louis Detroit from Campbelltown. That's a good signing, that one. Jordan Pudler from White City, Jake Monaco from Bacala, and the goalkeeper Nick Harpers. So they've got some good ends.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, one of the massive clubs with history is Blue Eagles moving now to their game.
Yeah, Blue Eagles have been a massive club for a long time. They've been up there with the Adelaide Cities, Campbelltowns. Their history shows that they're used to winning, but now they're falling behind. So as they couldn't develop with time the way the other Italian clubs did. The passion of the board and the owners is always there as an investment for funds, but for some reason they fall into State League One. So it just goes to show, and it comes, I think, from the coaches group. You know, if you prepare a good team, doesn't matter how much money you throw into it, it all comes down to the playing group. So my prediction is they'll get into the top three. Their outs are both goalkeepers, Richard Moss to USA, Nick Harpers to Cobras, and they've recruited a goalkeeper from White City.
Okay, cool. So we have a game on Monday night as well. There's Cumberland versus Playford. That kicks off at 7 p.m. So maybe give us some highlight into that. Yeah,
Cumberland, another huge club, but have not lived up to their history. We want to make their stay in State League One very short, because obviously they want to get promoted. But despite keeping most of their squad from last season and signing top goal scorer, Tommy Briscoe from Comets, I don't see them being better than Raiders or Blue Eagles or Playford. So my prediction is they'll just make the top six.
Right, and who are they?
So their ins are Tommy Briscoe from Comets and defender Rob Lippert from Modbury Jets.
Great. So we've got Playford here?
Yeah. Playford has added enough quality to make two teams. They recruited well in the off-season. They'll be a contender in the top six. No, they've signed well with Tom Strain, Yas, Harvey, all signing for the club. My prediction, they'll finish in the top three. So it's a team to look out for.
Solid performance in the trial
Yeah.
as well. Yeah. Okay, thank you for all of that, Rick. Great summary there. Okay, so straight after the break, we'll discuss our game. So don't go anywhere. So let's move forward now into our match, and let's discuss our match for this week against Port Adelaide Pirates.
Yeah, we've got online the head coach of Port Adelaide Pirates, Stephen Hughes.
Welcome, Steve.
Hi, Belinda. Rick, how are you?
We're well, thank you. Thanks for joining us.
Not a problem.
So you've had a hard match against Vipers. It was disappointing to go out early from the Cup.
Yeah, look, obviously it was a good test for ourselves coming up against a team who we'll be facing round two, actually. But, yeah, look, Vipers got the jump on us towards the end of the first half and took a 2-0 lead into half-time, which was a little disappointing. But we were able to react early in the second half to get back into the game with an early goal. But unfortunately, weren't able to find the equaliser.
Yeah, ran out a bit of time, yeah. So it looks like you've signed a few players and you're attacking third with, is it Mohamed Odu and Lachlan joining the club? Is the forward line something that you needed to improve on since last year?
Yeah, look, we lost a few players at the end of last season from our squad, so we had to sort of bring in a few players across all positions, really.
Right,
okay. Lachlan and Naz were two that were able to sign, which was good, and they've been really good for us in pre-season, and Lockie was on the score sheet in the Cup game, so good start for him in that regard.
Yeah, we've just reviewed all of the games, the upcoming games for the first round, and just done some ins and outs. It looks like the majority of the teams have at least signed about 5 or 6 quality players, but looking at it, maybe like Port Adelaide and Vipers have just added 1 or 2 players. Does that sound right to you? And is that were you happy with your squad from last year?
Yeah, we've got a good mix of players returning from last season, but as I said before, we did lose a few boys through retirement and other opportunities at other clubs. So we had to bring in a few boys to replace them, and I guess our pre-season was all about finding that balance between adding the new boys into the team, but also keeping a core mix of players returning from last season.
Great.
So far, so good, I think, yeah.
Perfect. How do you think your team will go this season in a much more competitive league? What are your expectations and goals?
Well, look, I'm not one normally to set goals as such. I mean, as you say, the league is going to be very competitive. So I guess, look, it all kicks off this weekend, and I think all clubs will have a lot better idea after 5 or 6 rounds as to how things are going to play out, and I think we are very much in that boat, Belinda, because as I say, with a lot of new players coming in, very hard to sort of, set any goals and expectations at this time anyway.
Okay, cool. Thank you for that. Did you have an opportunity to see any of the Eastern pre-match, the pre-season?
No, not really. No,
Okay.
like I say,
That's right.
pre-season.
Yeah, cool. I was just going to ask if there was any players that you think you need to be mindful of or cautious of this this Saturday.
Look, I know a couple of the players, obviously from last year, who are still with Eastern United. So I guess we can prepare to match up against those guys.
Yeah.
But look, again, I'm really much focused on
your pre-season
and what we need to do going into round 1. And yeah, like I say, just trying to really put the focus on where we're at, and of course, once we get into the season and start seeing some other teams, we'll be able to look a bit closer at the opposition team as well.
No, thank you. I appreciate that. So who are some of your players that you've got that we need to watch out for, you think? So we're looking for some inside goss here. What do you think?
Well, look, we are carrying a few injuries at the moment, so unfortunately we do have a couple of outs. But look, like we touched on a few of them before. Obviously, Lockie Zappler coming in, he's been really good in pre-season, and like I say, performed well last week in the Cup. Naz as our sort of centre forward, I guess, again. You'll know a bit about him from last year with his time at Adelaide Uni.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess those 2 boys could be potentially ones that we're hoping to maybe cause you a few problems.
Perfect. Thank you for that insight. Very much appreciated. Well, thank you for the opportunity to have a quick chat. We can't wait to see the teams down here on Saturday afternoon, and then with the main game kicking off at 5:30. So look forward to seeing you on Saturday.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to it. Round 1, and the season's upon us, so
Exactly.
looking forward to it.
Perfect. Thank you, Steve. Have a good evening.
No worries, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Great, thank you. Yeah, a bit of insight there, Rick. And
I'm just taking notes. We'll see if we can maybe get a bit more out of the coach.
perfect. Look, we'll come back with our coach, who will join us in the season. Sorry, in the studio, and then we'll discuss our game straight after the break. Welcome back, everybody. We now look at our game for this week, and we joined in the studio with our coach, Paul. Welcome.
Thank you, Belinda and Nick, for having me.
Pleasure to have you in the studio.
Thanks, Paul, for your time. First of all, pre-season, how did it go, in your opinion?
Look, in general, our pre-season went pretty good. We had plenty of games. We played 2-3 games in 1 week sometimes, so we gave minutes, and the fitness, I think it's there where it should be to be ready for the start of the season.
Yeah. Any new signings? How'd they go? You happy with them?
Yeah, like we said in the beginning this year, we had a lot of new signing, and the team needed some time to gel together, so the players get used to play with each other. But seeing the last 2 weeks how the team has been performing in the friendly match and in the cup game that we played Sundays, we are pretty happy, how the players are getting along with each other.
Yeah. And obviously everyone's looking forward to the first match.
Yeah, I think every player is looking forward to the first match. Also, the coaching staff is excited for the first match. Of course, the preseason games were pretty good, but it's different feeling and different emotion when you are going to go to play for points and for the league. Yeah.
This year, in your opinion, who are the teams to look out for?
Look, like we know and we mentioned before in the preseason warm-up show, a lot of teams have signed a lot of players. Every team has become stronger this year, and State League 1, I think, is going to be pretty strong this year. And Playford is a pretty good team. We played them twice this preseason. I've seen a couple of games of Raiders. They're a strong team. They have signed a few players with experience in NPL and also State League 1. Blue Eagles have a solid team with good strikers. Birkala has a good team, but they have a new coach, so we need to see how they go. I think there will be 3-4 teams that will be head-to-head until the end of the season.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be a close season, especially in the top six this season. As far as the players, who have impressed in pre-season?
Look, I'm not going to pick one or two players, but the good thing is that we have a balance in every part of the field. We have pretty strong defense, we have pretty good and quality midfield, and also up front we have a lot of options. So our team is well balanced, and I think everyone will do their best.
All right, so thank you for that. And definitely looking forward to Saturday and the kick-off. So we're home at 5:30 with our main team. Okay, so let's move forward. The fun part of the evening, the predictions for this for our first game. So let's go.
Okay.
What are we thinking?
Bacala, Adelaide victory. Bacala will win there. Do you want the scores or just want? I think Bacala will take the 3 points.
Okay.
Yourself, Paul?
I think it will go 1-1 probably.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Fulham and United and Raiders?
I think that'll be a draw 1-1.
Look, Fulham, like has been last couple of years, is pretty hard team to break down. But I think Raiders, with the experienced players that they have, they will get the points in this game.
Okay. So Vipers and Parahills?
I'm predicting Para Hills to win that.
This is a hard game to predict because Vipers, it's a newly promoted team. They have signed a few players. We played them in a friendly. They was pretty strong team and well connected together. And Para Hills in pre-season has been struggling a little bit. Also in the cup, they got a result that I think it disappointed for them. So that game can go both ways.
Absolutely. Okay, so Cobras and Blue Eagles, what are we thinking?
I'm thinking Blue Eagles, but Cobras will come out strong. They want to show the league that they belong in the league.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going Blue Eagles though.
Yeah, I think this game is going Blue Eagles' way because Blue Eagles have the experience now in State League 1 like they have in NPL. Cobras, the year before they was in State League 1, they got relegated, they got promoted again, so it's going to be hard for them too. I think Blue Eagles will get this game.
So we'll move to the game that's happening on Monday night, and that's Cumberland versus Playford. How do you think, what do you think's going
I'm thinking Playford. They've signed up a lot of good players, good talent up there, so I'm predicting Playford to win that one.
Look, I haven't seen Cumberland this pre-season playing, so I don't know how we shake them. I remember last year I reversed them when I was at Adelaide Olympic, and there was pretty good team with a lot of young players.
Right.
And so I think they will come playing hard and strong. Still, this game can go both ways, maybe a draw.
Okay, thank you. All right, so let's go. We'll move into our game then. So the Saints versus the Pirates, and we'll start with the 18s. How do you think they're going to?
18s, they'll win.
Right.
I'm predicting all of our 3 teams will win this weekend. So we've got the under 18s, they'll win 2-0. The reserves 1-0, and our seniors, I reckon they'll win 3-0.
Oh, that's a big score there. Goal scorers?
Goal scorers, Nico, Tanasi, and I'm going France in a corner. Yep.
Great.
You heard it here first.
So what do you think of the 18s then,
So
Paul?
I think the 18s will go 2-0. Reserves will win 2-1. And the first team, I will have to agree with 3-0.
And goal scorers?
Look, it's we don't want to give too much away, because we still haven't made our starting 11 and stuff.
Okay,
So
okay.
we'll
So you want to keep
wait and see. Yep, we'll wait and see.
Okay, perfect.
Yes, I didn't even know if my goal scorers are going to start.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you. Thanks, Rick, and thanks, Paul, for joining us. We're really looking forward to the kickoff of the season in round 1 proper. So let's get it happening. Thank you to all of our viewers coming in and watching today's episode. Please subscribe to the EUFC YouTube page. Share our videos. This goes a long way again to making the channel more active and more get your weekly updates. So yeah, great. Thank you. I look forward to seeing you all next week.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.